Good day, everyone. Welcome to CAPEX Bi-Weekly Immigration Update. My name is Chitra Bhatia. I'm a member of CAPEX BC Chapter Education and Training Committee, and I'm joined by my co-host Neera Agnihotri, who is a board member and chair of education. How are you, Neera?
I'm good, Chitra. How are you doing?
Good. Enjoying your summer in Vancouver?
It's hot. It's nice. It's beautiful. Yes. How about you?
Yeah, I'm actually missing the rains.
Now we're missing the rains. Isn't it funny that when it does
Yes.
rain continuously, we look for the sun? I don't think we're ever happy, are we?
I know. We always want something which is not there.
100%.
Good. So let's start with some latest news for this week. So we had an important update on the Open Work Permit pilot program. It has been extended for spouse or common law partner in Canada class. The Government of Canada announced extending the Open Work Permit pilot for spouses and common law partners applying for permanent residence under the spouse or common law partner in Canada class until the regulatory changes come into force to permanently implement this policy. So the extension of these measures provides certainty and stability to spouses and common laws in Canada who are waiting their permanent resident status. The open work permits are limited to applicants living in Canada and who have submitted an application under the spouse or common law partner in Canada class, and also who have temporary resident status or are eligible to restore their permanent resident status, their temporary resident status, such as visitor, student, or worker. So remember, when they apply, they should always have either should have restored their status or they should have a valid status. And they also should be living at the same address as their sponsor. So that is really important. Yes. The special note also, yeah. Do you want to add something to that?
No, continue.
A special note was also provided that, since there's a huge delay in the application process right now, so in case someone who had initially applied for a work permit under this pilot, they have received it, but now it's going to expire. IRCC is asking them to, renew their work permit, extend it before the work permit expires. So that's really important.
It gives them enough time for the processing to happen.
Yes.
And again, the emphasis on make sure when we apply for this, we have valid status in Canada.
Yes, very true.
Yes. Okay, then we talk about passports. So passport services in Canada are going to be resuming now via mail and by appointment for people that are traveling in less than 30 days. So they have to travel within the month. They can apply for the passport via mail, but if Canadians have an immediate need for a passport or are traveling in less than 30 days with proof of travel, they can request an in-person appointment. So they are now seeing people in person, but only on emergency basis. And applicants can visit the canada.ca passport website to learn more and find out how they're allowed to apply.
Awesome. That's a great news, actually. A lot of people are waiting for this.
Yes.
Now we have another news on original language test. Normally, certain programs required applicants to submit original language tests with the application. Now, IRCC has made clarification that they will be accepting applications for Atlantic Immigration Program, Agri-Food Pilot, Rural Northern Immigration Pilot, as well as Startup Visa Program without the original language test results. So they can submit the photocopy of the results. So that's good news because it's getting difficult for people to actually submit the original ones.
It is, because they're not getting them via mail. We've been seeing across the board how administrative staff is bare minimal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Saskatchewan actually invited 502 immigration candidates in their new PNP draw. Saskatchewan held the largest draw since the coronavirus pandemic that caused all the travel restrictions that started back in March. So the occupation and demand, there was 248 candidates that were invited. The express entry, 254 candidates were invited. And the minimum score that was required to receive an ITA was 70.
Great. At least we started seeing the PNP draws now. So that's a great news.
Yeah,
finally.
We're kind of starting to streamline things and probably get back into some sort of normalcy. It's been so long.
Yeah. And 502 is a great number to get invitation. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is for sure.
So we still see some international travel bans. So let's talk about that. So Canada has extended international travel ban until at least August 31st. So this has been extended for banning the entry of most foreign nationals until at least August 31st. Extension of the emergency order continues the same restrictions and exemptions as have been in place for the last several months. Also, the ban covers all countries except the United States, which has a separate travel ban in place until at least August 21st, which Neera, you can talk about.
Yeah, so the Canada and US border, we've also extended that closure until August 21st. So they will remain closed to non-essential travel at least until August 21st. I don't know what will happen then, depending on the cases, whether they kind of become, they level out, or if they're increasing, obviously this will be extended some more. There's no guarantee that the border will open up as of date. Negotiations are ongoing between the two countries, so between the Canada and the United States. The vast majority of foreign nationals, they're barred from entering Canada at this time still, but there are a number of exemptions for that travel ban. So the following groups are able to cross the border into Canada, whether by air and or land. So Canadian citizens and Canadian permit residents can come into Canada. Immediate family members of Canadian citizens and Canadian permit residents who are traveling to Canada for non-discretionary reasons. Temporary workers who hold a valid work permit or who are approved for a work permit but have not yet been issued the work permit. So they have the letter of approval and they have to flagpole, or they need to get the work permit issued. Again, we have a note here, please note that flagpoling is not permitted at this time. So I'm hearing conflicting news on this as well. Some people are able to flagpole and have been. So I guess it depends on that visa officer, the CBSA officer that is at the port of entry. But hearing from the Government of Canada, flagpoling has still not opened up. So travel restrictions.
I think what we're hearing is people, they say that you're not flagpoling, but you're just going to the border, getting the permit issued and coming back. So they're not putting a stamp that you're actually going to the US and coming back.
Coming back, yes. We are just going to the Canadian border.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So some of the travel restriction exemptions for those departing from a country that's other than the United States. Immediate family members of Canadian citizen permanent residents. So again, the foreign national who is an immediate family member of a Canadian or PR is exempted from the travel restrictions as permitted to travel to Canada if they have the required documentation for travel. So if they stay in Canada will be 15 days or longer, they'll be considered to be traveling for a non-discretionary or non-optional purpose. In addition, officers should be flexible when processing immediate family members of Canadians and permit residents that are traveling for less than 15 days. Travelers are expected to self-identify to airlines at the point of boarding that they are exempt under this provision by presenting documentation to establish their family members' Canadian citizenship or permanent residence status and their relationship to that family member. And if the family member is a child, when the foreign national is a child, age and dependency determine whether they meet the family member definition under IRPR as a dependent child, and consequently whether they meet the immediate family member definition of the orders. However, note that a foreign national who is an adult child of a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and who is not eligible under this provision may be exempt under the family reunification exemption. If that family member is a parent, where the foreign national is a parent, there is no requirement to establish any dependency.
So that's actually, I think a lot of people are getting confused in this because there's so much, so many things being talked about. So I have a question for you on this travel ban, Neera. So here's a question. I'm a permanent resident of Canada. Both my wife and I are working. We want to bring my parents to Canada on a super visa. Would they be allowed entry to visit us once they get their super visa? Yes, no, why not,
I think yes, they will. They will be able to travel to Canada. their children are in Canada, and define family member. So they have a Canadian or permanent resident that is their child. So they do fall under the definition of a family member. So parents in this situation under COVID meet the definition, but must be non-discretionary, non-optional travel, and they have to self-quarantine and be admissible to Canada. But again, the final discretion and the entry is determined and is assessed by the CBSA border officer. And the decision will be rendered by that officer. So again, that was your answer. And again, I want to thank everybody again for joining our daily. We'll see you again soon. And again, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you, Chitra, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.